Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to celebrate today with Jessica Frost Ballas in her 10K YouTube celebration hop. There's lots of inspiration to see and more than $800 in prizes for you to win. The more videos you comment on in the hop, the better your chance to win. Also, please subscribe to the creators along the hop. It's not required to win, but they're all amazing and would love your support in that regard. So I'll be sharing 3 cards today inspired by this pattern paper, and I'll be adding thread, of course. This paper, I love the colors and the fun text. I'll also be using these dies from My Favorite Things, Erin Lee Creative, and Ellen Hudson. All of these dies, all the supplies I use will be linked below. So let's get started. My first card is super simple and quick. I have a card base and a pattern paper circle. I'm wrapping the card base with coordinating threads. So I've also cut some rainbows from coordinating solid cardstock, and I'll be gluing them together with a slight offset. So here I'm just wrapping the threads, and I've cut my rainbows and glued them together. I then glue the rainbows along with the love sentiment from My Favorite Things to a vellum circle. To get a bit of dimension, I'm going to be adding some foam tape to the back of the focal piece. Now that I look at it, I think I should have layered this love die. However, I didn't. So if you get to try this, you probably would want to layer the die. So I'm adding my dimension to the back, and definitely you're adding the foam tape in the areas where it won't show through to the front. Now this is where I realized that I didn't like the threads, so I am now adding a 5x5 card panel to the front to cover the threads, and then I'm going to cut away the excess cardstock. Now once I mount this on a card base, that will be the finished card. Before we move to the second card, here's a look at the awesome companies that you'll be winning prizes from. The giveaway actually ends on April 8th, and winners will be announced on Jessica's blog on YouTube and her YouTube channel on April 9th, so look out for that. So on to our second card. This is my favorite one. So I've cut the word hooray out of 6 coordinating colors of cardstock. Here I am actually attaching acetate to the back of each. Well, I'm going to attach acetate to the back of each, and I'll be using packing tape to do that. However, I suggest that you glue with wet glue the acetate to the paper, and ensure that you place glue between the letters so that you get a better hold, because I noticed that after doing it this way, the hold wasn't too great, so you definitely want to glue it. So I picked out different color letters to cut into pieces, and as you can see, I'm cutting them into pieces. I'm going to make each letter or each color cover a different part of the letter to get a paper piecing look. I advise doing each column of letters so you can easily keep track of the colors that a particular letter will have and the spaces of the letter that need to be filled. So you'll do all the H's at once and then do all the O's at once, etc. So I'm cutting each letter into 3 parts using the pattern paper design as a reference. Ensure that for a given letter, 3 different colors are used, because when we stack each piece, we want the different colors to show through. Decide which piece you will be putting to the back and which to the front before you start gluing, so that you don't cover areas of the letter on the front piece that you want to show through the back, through from the back. Now that I've finished gluing the pieces, I'm stacking them together. I'm being very careful, ensuring that I line up the letters well. That is why I opted to use a liquid glue, so that I could move the pieces around to get the perfect alignment. And as you can see, they're perfectly aligned. And now I'm doing it to the second set, because I'll be using 2 of these. Great, so I actually now have my card front, and I have trimmed down my pieces so they can fit behind the card front. I cut the word hooray twice in the card front, and now I'm gluing my pieces to the card, making sure that they're aligned very well. As you can see, I also added a sentiment heat embossed in white on black cardstock. So after I've glued both pieces, I'm putting in all the negative pieces from the letters to finish off the card. And that's it. Now my final card incorporates both thread and pattern paper. I'm arranging my circle dies onto the Make Art station, and I'm going to tape them together. This part is not necessary, as you will see. You can skip it. There are much easier ways to do this. I've cut 6 pieces of 5x5 cardstock in coordinating colors, and I've cut a circle window out of white cardstock. To cut my next circle, I'm aligning the white with the blue and securing them using magnets on the Make Art station, which was super helpful in ensuring the papers didn't move. So after cutting all the circles, I'm going to use some foam tape, but right now I'm using regular washi tape to adhere the die to the blue piece of cardstock. So as you can see, I'm applying the foam tape on each piece of cardstock. I'm actually applying the tape closer and closer to the circle You should add cardstock in the end to, you should add foam tape in the end to bulk up the card. However, because this foam tape is for threading, I'm adding it very close to the circle. So I'm adding lines of thread to half of the circle. I'll be doing this to all the circles. So after I've added the thread, I'll align and adhere the threaded piece to the color beneath it. I'm using yellow thread for yellow cardstock and so on, and doing a 90-degree turn at each addition. So at each layer I do a 90-degree turn. So you'll see when the peach layer goes on, okay, I think it's less than 90 degrees, but you get the idea. So I've stacked most of my colors together, and now I'm going to attach the white piece. Then I'm going to glue on a pattern paper piece to the front. I love this pattern paper so much. And I'm going to finish off my card using stickers from American Crafts, which of course will be linked below. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these cards and tried them. I also hope you enjoyed the hop. And thank you so much, Jessica, for inviting me to celebrate with you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.